Time of year, inevitably, somewhere, somehow, someone is going to ask you, do you believe in ghosts? Now, most people fall into one of two camps. The one camp is, oh yeah, I believe in ghosts and I've got a story to tell you. The other camp is, oh, I don't believe in ghosts and I'm not telling you our story. I don't care how hard you try because I don't even believe it myself. So I kind of fell into the second camp a little bit at first. I'm not crazy. You can ask my wife. No, don't do that. But I consider myself a reasonably sane person. And I've kind of gone through life not really believing in ghosts up until 1985. That's when I was a seasonal ranger with the Blue Ridge Parkway. And I did such a good job, they invited me back for the fall season. And they sent me to the Doughton Park area of the Blue Ridge Parkway to live in a mobile home in a campground up there. Now, I get up there a little bit, went behind the ears. These rangers kind of took advantage of me a little bit and had their fun. But they kept asking me this question. Do you see anything unusual? Anything happen in this travel trailer? No, everything's fine. And then after a few days, I began to notice that out of the corner of my eye, I would see something. I would look, nothing's there. And then out of the corner of my eye, I'd see something else, and look, nothing's there. So I said something to Harold one day that I worked with, and said, you know, I've been seeing things out of the corner of my eyes. He goes, And then I said, well, what's up with this? He wouldn't tell me anything. So a week or so goes by, and I had to pull a double shift. 7 o'clock in the morning. And then after the double shift was over, I got called back out. And I didn't get back in until 1:30 the next day. I'm worn out. I go in, I fall into bed and just fall asleep immediately. I don't know what happened. Something woke me up. My eyes opened. I'm just dead tired. And I see this aura floating over me. It looked like a woman. But I'm in a strange place. I don't know who this is. And immediately I just swung my fist up and started hitting at it. And this aura that I saw wasn't trying to hurt me. It was just there. And I wasn't hitting it. It was just going right through it. And all of a sudden, this terrible face appeared like a demon. And it just rushed right through me. And then it went away. Well, I couldn't hardly sleep after that. So I go back and I tell Harold, hey, something happened last night. And he goes, yeah, what was it? I'm not going to tell you, but it happened. He said, yeah, Everybody had lived in this trailer at one time or another. So he said, you do know that there's a cemetery behind it. So I get home and I look back there and yes, there's a cemetery. Just a tombstone, it couldn't be 2 feet from that travel trailer. And come to find out, the 1916 flood, a lot of the victims were buried right there. They didn't even know what happened. They were asleep in their beds in this flood. They didn't even know it was coming, washed them away. And I thought, okay, so I move on and I go on back to Asheville where I lived, and I got married a couple of years later, and then moved into a house where I had lived as a child. Now my mother had my dad, who was a builder, build a new house, and she was dead set on getting into this new house, and they moved into it by the time I was about 4 years old. So what happened was I didn't know why my mother wanted to move so badly. But my new wife and I soon had a baby on the way. The baby's born. And one night, the baby is in the crib next to our bed and is asleep. And my wife saw something, but she wouldn't tell me what it was. Well, things went on for a while, and then I kept noticing in that house, I would see something out of the corner of my eye. Just like up in that travel trailer. Never had this happen anywhere else. And I kept seeing that. Well, one night I'm laying in the bed asleep, and our baby is up in the crib, and my wife kind of nudges me. And I wake up and I see this woman standing over our baby, just an aura of her. And she's standing over, and I'm watching her. She didn't look like she wanted to bother. She's very short. And my wife said something, like she gasped, and the aura turned around and looked at us and smiled and disappeared. Never saw her again. Now, what I found out later was that house had been dug, the basement had been dug out right where a grave had been from somebody pre-Cherokee. They found the artifacts there. So, we live in a place where there's a thin veil. Sometimes we see through it. It can't really do us harm unless we let it. Like when I swung my fist at that. But recognize it's real.